I was thinking of one thing that Scott was talking about when clients ask you something and you just give it to them, which is true, but like most things in life, is true part of the time. And then when it comes to noir music, David Hollander, the showrunner for Ray, we had been talking about this idea of the show moving to New York, and it was going to be jazzy. And we basically, almost every season, would start with the idea of having this jazz element to noir element to Ray Donovan. But in that case, when he was asking for jazz and noir, he didn't really mean actually jazz and noir. And we actually tried first real smoky kind of jazz stuff. Didn't feel right. Then I was like, okay, this is a more contemporary show. Let's try what would be contemporary, particularly New York jazz, that kind of downtown, grittier, John Zorn kind of, sort of a little bit more kind of mixed with punk kind of thing. Didn't work either. To picture. These were all great ideas and great conceptually. And we just by trial and error ended up landing at the style of the music of the show, which all ends up being basically the way that I'm able to write music in the end. We all have our styles, and our styles, I think, are also a lot of times determined just as much by your strengths as by your weaknesses. And in the case of Ray, we ended up landing at this place that is more of like conceptually a wink to noir, but certainly very, very removed from what we've seen here today. But the interesting thing is that the way that I came to work on Ray Donovan was by many years before Ray Donovan, working on a movie called Hollywoodland, which was indeed a noir score, more of like we were not even referencing those original noir scores. We're really referencing Chinatown, which was already kind of like a second, third generation noir thing, that incredible Goldsmith score. I'm assuming that if you don't know the score in the movie, you should. And so, I'm this was in the 2000s. So, I don't even know what generation, permutation of noir that would have been. But after working with Alan Coulter, the director, I went on to do another score with him called Remember Me. And then he called me. I had done very little TV, and he said, I'm doing this pilot for Showtime. It's called Ray Donovan. I'm not sure if it's any good, but you want to come and take a look? And it was at that time when, before, 10 to 15 years ago, there was a big divide in film music between TV and film. And, if you're a TV guy, you're a TV guy, or a TV gal, or a film person, you're a film person. And there was this sense that you never crossed. And eventually, those lines now are completely blurred, almost to the extent, I would say, that it's almost a more exciting time in TV creatively, certainly for the amount of work that is being done. And I think a big part of it is because writers are in charge of TV, not, so whoever is creating the story is who's in charge of the show. And I think that has had a really great creative impact on the material that you see, started with HBO, Showtime, now including the streamers and all of that. And I was kind of caught that wave as it was going up. And we finished the 6th season of Ray Donovan last year, and we are about to embark on the 7th season, and it's been an amazing ride. And from the beginning, the show, again, getting back to the noir thing, I felt like it was more like his persona felt like a persona from a film noir. He's so quiet and, stern and doesn't talk much, and is wearing always his dark suits. And so there were elements there, but in the music, it took a long time to find what was it that made him tick musically. And even when you find it one season, the cool thing with TV is that, if you're doing your job right, when the next season comes up, you have a good chat about what it's going to be about, and try to reinvent the texture of the show, and try to be specific to whatever is happening at that point. In the case of Ray, there was a real turning point when the story moves to New York City, and so there was a real opportunity to kind of throw away the old and start with new stuff. So we really did very, very little use of any music that was not from that season. Whereas in the previous seasons, you end up kind of, there's a little bit of cross pollination that happens inevitably. I have